Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief Recap. Blah. Let's see if Brian can try and do this in like 15 minutes here today. I really don't want to do like a half-hour rant, but anyway, Monday, 10:30 on the West Coast. Spent the past hour and a half checking in with TRICTO Sjord and his view of the world. Fascinating to see our internal engine just churning away. And also, I guess the thing that really jumped out at me is how crypto really is acting as a leading indicator again here. And we're starting to actually see, a week or so ago, we pulled up the crypto indexes, and they were starting to trying desperately to turn, and we were following things like bullish percentage index, because this works as an excellent sort of leading tool here. And the long and short of this is we're now actually starting to get W's coming in on crypto, which is, I don't know whether being too short or too bearish of crypto in here is such a good idea, folks. But what was kind of cool about this, and I just sort of noticed this morning, is, like I said, that message from the broader market, the crypto market a week or so ago was kind of like, hey, we're trying to turn, and the bullish percentage was Wing out. And lo and behold, now we're actually starting to see that same sort of message coming out of the big boys, where the market is maybe we've hit some sort of peak inflection point here. The moving averages are a million miles apart. Could we get that counter trend rally to bring them together? And you can see the bullish percentage, the internal measure, it's actually trying to W out here, which is fascinating. So we'll keep an eye on this as we go forward, but in essence, it kind of feels like the stock market still wants to go up, and risk still wants to go up. And I like the fact that our breadth indicator is helping us see, number one, the leaders, and some of the crypto names have gone absolutely insane here, but also too, just to sort of wait for that turn in the sort of dinosaur legacy markets. Interesting to see the utilities market is finally turning up here a little bit, and we're also seeing the bonds. They had a big jump up there, so they're a little bit happier now. And then, of course, what's the political backdrop? And I still think that really the legacy markets, they're still waiting on the Fed. Interesting. It almost feels as though crypto is kind of like, still has that risk bid. But the DeFi space starting to come alive again. And actually, the presentation from our CTO today was all about Luna, and how a big sort of objective of Luna is to address that DeFi stealing the classic financial services industry's lunch. And the yields are kind of attractive, so I can understand money is pouring into this space. So your backdrop, fascinating to see U.S. dollar just continues to power its way higher. Big old W's have been confirmed now. Probably maybe hit like a short-term resistance level in here. Who knows? Fascinating to see, too, that the stock market is trying to turn back up, but the oil market is actually down. So we're getting a bit of conflicting messages from risk. And interestingly enough, Bitcoin itself, it's kind of just going sideways here today in particular. Still like that uppy message, especially from breadth, right? And you look at the poop coins. They, unfortunately, when I'm in red boxes, and unfortunately, I showed you this before. When I get into red box territory, I can't really participate. I mean, maybe on the breakout and then the subsequent Wyckoff check of that breakout level. Okay, maybe. Double bottoms, breakouts to new high. Okay, maybe. But, Brian's a cheap ass, right? He wants to be buying down at reload zones and all that kind of stuff. So quite often I when we get into this part of the market, I'm actually thinking about being a net seller and taking profits versus being a net buyer. So, and my message to the community today was along those same lines that it's very hard for me, a guy like me, to come in and buy a market that looks like that. But, there are names within the crypto space, something like this Wi-Fi. I mean, gee whiz, that sure looks interesting. But also some of these little junior names. We were chatting a little bit about how we're actually getting lower time frame bullish setups on things like Doge now that this sort of orgy nonsense is over. Like this little XTC, I thought this was XTZ. I thought this was a cool analogy of what I do. So I always wanted to get in on this. This was one of the names Chico kind of liked previously. Just working bids against the bottom end range. And actually, I was pretty pleased to see now we're actually like sort of holding this W, which starts to paint some really cool bullish upside objectives. And of course, the interesting thing about this is we actually are starting to see a lot of sort of confluence of the fact, a lot of people would get angry at me because I would have like banging out doubles orders and they would get filled, and then all of a sudden you'd see the market reverse. Well, it turns out that yes, my order to sell half on a double also lines up with mathematical levels that explain why the market reverses. So it's not just Brian that stops the bull, it's math. So don't be angry at me. Anyway, point of the matter here is seeing lots of uppy. Look at this Ambrosia. Holy jeez, look at this little guy go. So this was a double bottom that came in forever ago, and your job was just to be patient and disciplined and do nothing, and you can see it just climbing the wall of worry. So that's pretty much the kind of market state that I see. I see a lot of these individual names that are probably, they always say a rising tide lifts all boats, and that's sort of what this feels like, and we kind of conjectured that this might happen. Bitcoin has big run up, and then through its sort of consolidation period, it's not breaking down, it's not face ripping, it's just in a range. A lot of the little junior market really comes to life. So I think that's a very apt analogy of this current market state. Other than that, we're still waiting. The bonds are probably waiting on the Fed. They'll probably bottom as soon as the Fed gets all their free money and they can fire bazookas. Gold still can't find a bottom here. And I think I don't know whether I showed you or not, but sort of risk on, risk off. This is a tough market for risk off. There's just nobody is buying risk off at all right now. It's all risk on. Interesting, though, how the oil backed off there. I'm not quite sure why. Probably there's a specific fundamental story there. But the gold, oh boy, what a mess. Now, here's the funny thing, what we do here at TRI. Gold looks like shit. It's heading making new lows. And yet we go and trade these funny little VCIM stocks, and this company happens to be in the gold business, an exploration company, and bang, we just got another double off. I don't know why that happened. Not a clue. But the interesting thing about this guy is, you tell me, has he got any room to move up here? You can't even see the price where we are down here. I mean, I'm not expecting these highs, but, could we trade in this range? Sure, why not? So if we zoom in there, you still can't even see where we are. Okay, well, let's maybe zoom in just against this high. This high, there's good old Foggenbaum, right? I don't see any reason why we can't trade up here. My plan is just simply, sell halves on doubles. Don't think, just run the business. And so, of course, we had an open order here working for a while, and boom, they gave us a nice fill today. So, feeling pretty good about that. Also, too, we had just some fantastic trades. This eyes, wow, look at that crazy ass move. Buying the warrants at a dime, and here they are, $2. And this might just turn into a blink, where this thing might go up to 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks. Who knows where the hell the top is. So as long as they keep taking this thing higher, I actually refrained from selling half on a double here. I said, okay, fine, I'll sell half on a triple. So did let some go at that triple, and now that is a double of the last triple. I don't know. Anyway, just having fun, making money from trading. Great day. Account balance is going up, feeling pretty good. And that's kind of the market, stock pickers market. Stock market itself, is it doing this? No. Stock market itself has moved a grand total of 0.7%. Blech, stuck. And actually looking a bit risky. There's no way I could go and buy this for like my retirement plan and expect to double my money anytime soon. Could I see a little play around here through this options expiry? Ides of March. 1 year anniversary of last year's low. It turns out it's an EVU event also, so big energy release. Yeah, I could totally see that. Is this a market that I would be trading right now? No way. But while the market is pushing up like this, this is what gives you the opportunity to have your little ones go absolutely nuts and do crazy things like this. So that's the way I'm interpreting right now. Stock pickers market. Just make damn sure to pay yourself when these things pop. Try to find good fundamental names. In fact, and there's some things I was buying, like this one here. This was a presentation by one of our OGs. And I mean, you look at the charts, you can see they rolled the stock back. It reload zones, W's coming in, pullbacks against lows, value low. I mean, it shouldn't surprise you that I would be buying something that looked like that. And that's the kind of market that we're in. So, as I said, not really a long presentation today. There isn't anything sort of earth-shattering that I really wanted to bark about. All I'm going to simply say is we got to get those politicians to pass the stimmy, which gets the Fed the ammunition that they need to go in and put a bottom in the bond market. And until that happens, I expect the bonds to continue to sell off. I expect gold and silver and the metals to continue to be weak. I expect energy, stocks, crypto to be relatively strong, interestingly enough, along with the US dollar. Figure that one out. Once that stimulus is passed, once the Fed has the bazooka, I think they'll be more than happy to come in and put some sort of bottom in the bond market, which is what everybody's talking about, interest rates on the long end going up, and inflation and all that kind of stuff. Until that happens, there's just nothing to do. And really, the irony of it all is that that's kind of, I think, Washington and Wall Street are kind of thinking hand in hand here. So everybody's just sort of just sitting and waiting. And if you happen to have a runner on the day, well, better make damn sure to book some profits. Okay, I think I'll leave the rant at that. No idea how long that was. Maybe about 10-15 minutes. Hope you got some value out of it. All the best. PMA for the win. And bye.